Hello everyone, Jessica here with another layout for the Bramble Fox design team. Today I'm using the beautiful January Fox box, and I'm also using some puffy stars from the shop and some miscellaneous perspectives and lots of goodies today. So I'm pulling out a stencil to use on my background. Last month I did a layout that was similar to this on some craft cardstock like this, and I did some stenciling, and I just love the way that turned out, so I decided to do that again. So I've pulled out one of these stencils from one of our previous Fox box subscriptions. I think this might have been the November one, if I remember right, or December, one of those two, but it's one of our previous ones, and I pulled out that stencil, just did some light stenciling with some speckled egg distress oxide, and then I'm just going in and outlining a couple of these little bits on the stencil. So I just popped the stencil back down and actually just did my outlining right on top of that, just to keep within that frame, and it was the easiest way to do the outlines for me. So I didn't outline all of them, I just outlined a few just to give it some pops of little color in there and pull in some black. So there's my photo. I really wanted my photo to shine on this layout and pop, no pun intended, because it is a pregnancy photo. So I felt like this photo is just so beautiful. It looks like I'm actually glowing in it, so I wanted it to be the main focus of my layout. So I'm just splattering some white acrylic paint on that stenciling, and I want that to kind of draw your eye towards the middle of the photo, or the middle of the page, so that your eye goes to the photo. I'm going to go ahead and cut out all of these little paper snips with the die that coordinates with it from the shop on my Big Shot machine. So I went ahead and did that to cut that bottom portion off, and then I'm going to use a whole bunch of the snips from the top too with the wordy bits on them. And I'm just going to go ahead and map my photo real quick here and distress the edges. I've just pulled a piece of random cardstock from my stash here, and I just matted it and then distressed the edges with my edge distresser. And I'm going to use this beautiful acrylic piece that just says extraordinary. I feel like that's pretty much a given with a pregnancy photo, because, you know, our bodies as women are just absolutely amazing and can withstand so much when having kids. So I really thought this was the perfect title piece for this photo. And I'm working on my 2020 album, which is great. It makes me super happy. So I haven't pulled that one out for a while. I just finished my 2019, so now I'm going to start kind of working through my 2020 album, which is a very hard year for me to scrap, just because of COVID. So I will hopefully be working on that album here and getting some of those layouts documented. So here I'm just pulling in some of these little paper snips. I'm going to pop down, I think, 3 of them on this layout and put my signature thread behind them. And I'm going to use some glue dot sandwiches in between those to adhere those down onto my page. But here's all those cute little wordy bits at the bottom here. I'm going to cut them apart and use a whole bunch on around my photo. But I want to do a little bit of stamping just to pull in a little bit more interest to this layout. So I'm going to add these cute little stars by Pretty Pink Posh, and then I'm just scattering them about my layout. So here I'm just cutting apart the rest of these little paper snip goodies, and I'm going to add a bunch of these little wordy bits around my photo just to bring more of that focus in towards the photo. So I've just added a couple that say, "This is the life, live out loud, new beginnings," and "one happy moment" will also go on there at the bottom of this right side here in a second. I felt like that bottom one that's there now is a little bit too long for the feel of this layout, so I ended up switching it out. So just a reminder, in the shop, we have these clear epoxy stickers, which you can use to make your little circle paper snips into actual flare buttons, which I absolutely just love. So I do that a lot with mine. I have 3 of them cut out here, and I've just placed them onto my layout without the clear thing on right now, but you'll see me pop that onto them and a little bit later to actually make them into the epoxy flare. This little fabric star is so super cute, and they're fuzzy. I just love them. I'm gonna have to grab some more from the shop, but I just absolutely love those. And they are they're like fabric. So I used some Nuvo glue to stick it down. It didn't actually stick down the first time, it just kind of absorbed. So I just went in with another layer of Nuvo glue, and then it stuck down perfectly fine. So here I'm just creating my glue dot sandwiches behind my flare buttons. I'm gonna go ahead and put 1 glue dot down on the back side of it, and then I'll put my thread twiddles behind that, and then I will put another glue dot to actually secure the whole thing to my paper. So that's how I like to do mine. I just take some thread and just kind of wind it and twiddle it around in my hand until I get it to where I like it, and then stick it behind the flare and then put another glue dot to pop down on the page. So super simple, but super cute and effective. And then there is the clear piece that I'm just popping on top of that. So I'm just going to continue building this. I'm not going to add a whole lot to this layout. Again, I want the main focus to be my photo. I really want to make it shine and pop. So I don't want to add a ton of things to this to take away from that. The one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop this Yes paper snip up off of my page. And then I'll go ahead and pop that top one as well that says today was very noteworthy. I really, really love these paper snips. It's number 49 from the shop. So if you want to grab that one, it is number 49. And I think this might be actually my favorite paper snips of all time that I've seen. I just really love this set, and it could really be used for so many layouts, and I just love the colors of them with the blues and the reds. It's just beautiful. And I wasn't even going to go for this color scheme in this layout. It just I kind of grabbed this photo and saw the blue sky in it and just went from there. I was originally going to do a red and black checked theme to match my scarf that I was wearing, but I decided against it. I really, really loved the color that this title piece is, so I just kind of drove my layout around that, and it just came together so easily. I just love it. So here I've pulled out another random piece of paper. I think this one might be from Echo Park. And I'm just cutting a little border strip to put at the top of my photo. I felt like that part up there was a little bit naked yet, so I'm just going to pop that piece down there just to give it some interest there, and then I'll put my date stamp up on top of that. And I felt like I needed to do a little bit of torn edges on this layout too, so after I glue down this title piece, I'm going to go ahead and tear up some of the edges of the paper and pop some staples on there. But I'm using Nuvo glue again just to adhere all of my little acrylic pieces. So I've got my title piece down, and then I'm going to pop down some of these cute little stars from the shop, which you can get from the star box, and you can get a whole bunch of them. So I'm just going to scatter a few of them on my layout. Again, I don't want to add a ton of stuff because I don't want to take away from my photo or that beautiful stenciling that's in the background. It's kind of subtle, but it's definitely there and you can see it. So I don't want to take it away from the focus of those two things. So I'm just going to pop a few of these little stars on there. Again, using that Nuvo glue, and then I'm pulling out my my favorite bits here. I'm using my chevrons again. I just love them. I'm going to have to get some more of these from the shop and get stocked up because I really love to use these little chevrons on my layouts. I've been using them a lot lately, and they just seem to go with everything and kind of pull the focus to wherever you need it to, so I just love adding them to my layouts. And just remember whenever you're gluing down these acrylic pieces to pull off that backing strip so that you can add your Nuvo glue to it. And not all of mine had it this time, just a few of them had it. So I guess it depends on when they cut them out, if they come off or not. So here I'm just ripping a couple little sections of my paper on the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to tuck some of that same paper in behind it that I used to map my photo with the black and white checkered theme. So I'll just cut a couple strips of that and adhere behind this so that it just gives it a little pop of more pattern paper goodness. So I'm going to tuck those in there, and then I'm going to grab my little Tim Holtz tiny attacher stapler, and I'm going to staple down these edges so it adds a little something as well. I just love to add those cute little staples to my layouts wherever I can. And then I'm pulling out my little stamp set by Ellie Studio. It has cute little love bits on it. So this is just the XOXO stamps, and it's from the Love You stamp set. So I've pulled that out and added that in a few places. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple little more stars, a couple little more. What am I saying today? A couple more stars in a couple places. Oh man, words are just difficult today. I can't think of the right words. And then I've added my date stamp. So there's my little tiny attacher coming out with the staples. And then here's the finished layout. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video today, and I hope you have a chance to grab some of these goodies from the shop. I'll link them down below for you in the description. And thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.